How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and 2015 is just about to finish. This year has been huge for old school RuneScape. In fact, I've created over 150 videos alone to cover everything that's happened, and that doesn't even count videos such as events and one-off specials such as this video. So, as a little end-of-year treat, I just wanted to create a video to showcase all the updates that have had a massive impact on old school RuneScape. I formatted this into a top 10 video and ordered them into what I personally feel made the biggest impact this year. So, let's kick this off with number 10, Skill Cape Perks. This is one of the more recent updates to old school RuneScape. It gave every single skill cape in-game a somewhat useful perk. Obviously some are more useful than others, such as the cooking cape stopping you from burning food, whereas the defense cape only acts as a ring of life. However, I've put this at number 10 because it's added something small to every single skill in-game, and it encourages more people to level those skills in order to benefit from the perks. Moving to number 9, Cerberus. This feisty dog was the first of 2 Slayer bosses to be released this year. It introduced 3 best in-slot boots for all of the combat classes in-game, and introduced a smouldering stone in order to enhance your dragon tools. With these drops and creative combat mechanics, many players cannot wait to get a Slayer task in order to kill him. Next, number 8, the Slayer assignment rework. For a long time, people were a little bit confused about how Slayer tasks really worked. Many felt that creatures had some of the strangest requirements. One of the most well-known examples of this is requiring 110 combat in order to kill dark beasts, when in reality you can do it at any sort of higher level. The key thing you really need is protect from melee. This was a welcome update by many players, however it did have a few odd consequences, such as mid-level players getting Slayer tasks well above their level. A famous example of this was when the Slayer Master Vanica started giving out Bronze Dragon tasks. Number 7, Boss Pets. Following last year's successful boss pets, this year we've had a large amount of boss pets, including ones from all the wilderness bosses, all of the new bosses introduced this year, and the big daddy of all of the bosses, Jad. These were great because it encouraged so many people to kill tons of these bosses in order to get the pet. It's really great to see boss content get revitalized with such a simple idea as a pet. Number 6, Zora. This was the first update of the year, and what a great update to start with. It added a fascinating area, a great boss battle, and many great drops, and it planted the seed for the rest of the year. I feel it showcased so much old school potential, such as what boss battles can do, what graphics can look like, and how old school can introduce lore without the need for quests. Moving on to number 5, the Abyssal Sire. This was the second Slayer boss to be added this year. It brought in some great high tier weapons, which I would argue are very pure friendly, but more importantly to me, the Abyssal Sire showed off how good the old school graphics can be. I give Mod Ghost huge credit for this, and I think we'll see much more when Zaya gets released in 2016. At my number 4 slot, I've chosen Achievement Diaries. Achievement Diaries were talked about for such a long time because we already had the easy, medium and hard Karamja tasks. The introduction of all the new tasks and rewards was great, most of them were well balanced and relevant to the areas they came from. Additionally, this update introduced some items that players were familiar with in RuneScape 3, such as the Falador Shield and Varrock Armor, which I thought was quite a nice little touch. The amount of content that this update added was impressive, because it was such a huge project, although I must admit I wasn't really too impressed with all the bugs it caused. If you paid close attention to all the small updates this year, you would have noticed there were a lot of fixes for Achievement Diaries, and unfortunately I'm sure we're going to see at least a few more. Coming in at number 3, it's the Grand Exchange. This is an update that I wasn't really an advocate for when it was being discussed, polled, and even when it came out. It took me a long time to even use it, and even then I only use it when I have to. That being said, I cannot deny how big an update it is. It completely changed the way that most old school players trade with each other. Instead of finding someone who will trade with you, discussing the deal with them, and eventually going to trade with them, you just pop it in the Grand Exchange, and the whole system is automated for you. It's a very useful update. However, the nostalgic player inside of me is crying every time I use it. At number 2, we have FreetoPlay and Bonds. Now I kind of feel that these are 2 separate updates, so I should probably put them in their own list entries. However, seeing as Jagex forced them into one poll question so they could get bonds, I feel I must do the same, and this just allows me to vent a bit of rage about that. These 2 changes have made old school RuneScape much more accessible to players all over. Free-to-play obviously allows anyone to play without having to pay an upfront £6 for a month of gameplay. It's helped many players get back into the game and even spawned a few new players who haven't played RuneScape before. Bonds have also helped in a similar respect, allowing players to trade their in-game wealth for membership. Both of these have been awesome because it's helped the accessibility of the game. However, unfortunately, we all know the dark side of bonds, being able to buy in-game gold for real-world money. This entire update has had a huge impact on the game, and we can only hope that the benefits stay around longer than the drawbacks. Before we get to my number one pick for the update with the biggest impact of 2015, I wanted to give some special shoutouts to updates that were big. However, for one reason or another, I just didn't feel that they were big enough to put on this list. These are Deadman Mode, Experience Drops, the Angler's Outfit, Skilling Pets, the new cape emotes such as the Max Cape, Music Cape and Achievement Diary Cape, and the Dragon Defender. We're now at my number one pick for the old school RuneScape update with the biggest impact of 2015. It may not have given us much in the way of gameplay nor economy, but it was what I would argue to be the biggest quality of life update we've had to date. This update is of course Resizable. Having Resizable in the game really helped the accessibility of the game. No matter what your screen size is, you can play the game. It also helps show off certain graphical features that would have previously been hidden away, and personally, when I'm running about old school with Resizable turned on, I notice so much more than I would have done before, and I realise the game is so much bigger than I previously thought. I've really enjoyed having Resizable, but the sad truth for this update is that so many people don't appreciate it because it didn't add an item that helps them skill or a mechanic that helps with combat. For that reason, I really wanted to give Resizable this number one spot. Let it shine above the rest because it has done wonders for the game and doesn't get the thanks it deserves. I know for a fact that Ian worked really hard on it, and I'm thankful for all his work. In fact, I'm really thankful for all the work the old school RuneScape team members did in 2015. I love watching their Q&A videos every Thursday because it shows so much more of the game than anything else can. Now this is the part of the video where I usually link you to my 2 latest old school RuneScape related videos. However, did you know I also create Rollercoaster Tycoon videos? I'm going through every single park in the game and completing it. So if you want to check that out, please click here for Katie's Dreamland, my most recent park. If you want to watch my old school RuneScape Christmas event video, please click here. And if you want to watch my video on the latest old school RuneScape update, please click here for Christmas 2015. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share. Hopefully this will allow me to gauge if people enjoy these sort of one-off videos, and I'll see if I can make some more in 2016. Finally, if you want to keep up to date from me, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.